And we're live. Welcome back, everyone, to AJC and the Web Devs. We've got third time returning guest Roselle with us. What's up, Roselle?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Doing good. We also have Dev, who is my co-host today. What's up, Dev?
It's going good. I'm
Dev.
pretty deep into some AI and framework work these days, but I'm excited to chat more. It's been a while.
Yeah, are you on the market now for a job?
Yes, I am currently looking for jobs. So if anyone watching, listening knows anyone, hit me up.
Yep. So don't use PowerSync, apparently.
PowerSync is fine.
I was like, man,
I
just
still
a
have
blog
this.
post about PowerSync.
I still have this T-shirt on.
Yeah, that's true. Cool. So, Rizal, Dev was showing off PowerSync recently, and he was working there for like all of like 1 month or something.
And then they did layoffs? What? the heck?
Not quite layoffs.
Oh.
No, I was there for about like 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it felt like 1 month to me. Time is
Yeah.
a flat circle.
Pretty short, yeah. Although in AI years, I was probably there for like 2 years.
Yeah, that's true. In AI years, like I've been at my job for a short time, and I'm like, it feels like I've been here for a while.
Yeah, I think there's an in AI we're gonna need a before Opus 4.5 and after Opus 4.5 moment like BC and AD.
I know, right?
Cool. So, Roselle, so when you were first on my stream, I think it was towards the beginning of when you had been at Block, and we were talking about DIDs, back decentralized identity, and then a little bit of AI stuff as well. And then the second time you came on with Ebony, and that's when you were deep into Goose. And so now you're no longer at Block. Did you want to speak at all in terms of like the layoff situation? Because this is happening now at like a lot of companies, so I feel like you kind of were. What were your opinions on it in terms of how it happened, how it was rolled out?
Yeah, I mean, I will say I had a great time working for Block, particularly on the Goose side, because I was like, this brings me back to like the GitHub Copilot days a little bit, but even more advanced. Like we're not just doing autocomplete anymore. Like your agent does stuff for you. So that was really fun. And then my team was so fun, like Angie and Ebony and Ace and all of them. Like I'm like, we really formed like a close bond. So when the layoffs hit, it was really shocking for us. We had been doing little layoffs since I was at TBD. Like they were doing like little layoffs at a time. But I was like, okay, I understand this is like a really large company because it's I don't know if people know like Block is an amalgamation of like Cash App and Square and all these other, and then they have all these little side projects like Goose and TBD and stuff like that. So I was like, it's understandable that like layoffs are happening, but I think that layoff was really surprising because they laid off 40% of the company. And we did not see it coming. I didn't get laid off, but my entire team, my manager, everybody got laid off. So I felt like this is weird. Why am I here? So I just left.
That's exactly actually what happened to me at Edgio. Is that I didn't get fired from Edgio, but Scott did, and then the rest of the JavaScript Jam team had pretty much been winnowed down to that point anyway. So I was just by myself, and like I joined the team to do JavaScript Jam, So I was just like, this sucks.
Exactly. And like the team makes it really fun. Like it makes you want to be there. So now you're like, all right, what am I doing? And then I have like the looming feeling that maybe I would get laid off eventually. Like people
Did you have?
Hmm?
So did you already have a thing lined up at Entire before you left?
Yeah, before I left, I did. It just happened to be like the layoffs happened. I had seen Entire post something, like this all happened in a matter of days. I had seen Entire post something, and Entire the co-founders, I worked with them at GitHub because the former CEO of GitHub is the founder of of
Nat,
Entire,
Nat?
and then
Nat?
no, Thomas Domke. He's like the most recent.
Oh,
Um,
she was the CEO after Nat, probably.
yeah, after that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then his chief of staff I had also worked with a bit. His name was Cole. And then I was like, this project's so cool. And then like they messaged me and they're like, we heard layoffs are happening at Block. And I didn't even know. I felt bad because they were interviewing me. I thought they were just chatting. So I was like, yeah, that happened. Da, da, da. And then they're like, you want to work here? I'm like, oh wow, okay, yeah. So then that's when I ended up quitting. I really did appreciate my time at Block though. Like I learned a lot, and I think it helps me to bring whatever I've learned over to Entire.
Yeah, no, that's tight. Yeah, no, that's great. It shows that you really put in the work, and that you're a hot commodity now.
Hopefully, I don't know.
So let's talk about what is Entire and what made you excited about it.
Yeah, so right now Entire has one. I don't want to like reveal too much, but our whole idea is that like Git is helpful, right? Because it's showing you like the diffs and stuff like that, what files change that really change software development. Because before Git and GitHub, people were like sending emails to each other, writing over like patches and like all that. It was like really chaotic. But now we're in this new age with agents where like agents are bringing in huge PRs. Maintainers are getting overwhelmed. We see every now and then platforms like GitHub are like having outages, or we see open source communities are saying like we're closing down contributions and stuff like that because there's just too many like agent authored PRs. We can't keep up with it. So the whole like premise behind Entire is to make version control and collaboration with agents and humans much easier. Right now, what we have out, we're working on stuff like in stealth, but right now what we have out is something called checkpoints. And it's really simple. It's nothing crazy, but basically it's a CLI tool that has like hooks. It listens to whatever you're doing in your agent. So like if the agent started a session, if you made a commit or whatever, and then every time you make a commit, it creates a checkpoint and grabs all the like prompts that you've written, the tool calls, like different things that are relevant to the session that you had with the agent, saves it, stores it in a repo on a separate branch, and then from there you can use that data to like you can tell like the CLI tool to like summarize what you like what happened in the session or whatever it is that you need to do to help you to get a little bit more understanding of why a certain decision was made by an agent. I don't know if that was a little too wordy. My bad.
No, it's all good. I'm trying to delete these spam comments in my Twitch. Dev, react.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's a really that's exciting to hear. I think well, I definitely sympathize that one of the biggest problems with AI creating these giant PRs is that it's impossible to tell why a certain decision was made. If this was like, did a user make this decision, or did a user just like write a really vague spec and the agent go ahead and like make 20,000 changes on behalf of it? So being able to like, or like having some additional insight into those giant PRs is definitely very valuable. And I mean, you mentioned that there are some things that you cannot yet talk about. So that makes me even more excited to see what's coming on the horizon. But I'm just for now, I'm just as excited to show what you like, what Entire is today, how we might use. Like I'm right now, I'm in the background. I'm kind of setting it up for open code to see how it goes. Yeah, would love to hear or see more about that. And I guess before that, I would also like to ask, like, what's your like kind of like daily AI usage look like? Like, are you using open code? Are you trying one of the new like claws? And how
You
is
still
it? How's
just
the Entire?
repping Goose.
Yeah,
No,
okay, Goose.
okay,
Of course.
I was a Goose lover. I still am a little bit, but I haven't used it as much because I don't know. I wanted to try out the other ones. Oh, and Goose doesn't have an integration with Entire, so I'm like, let me use the stuff that is with Entire. I've been using Codex a lot. It took me a
Too.
while. You have been too? Okay, I didn't believe
Same.
people. Like everybody was like, go to Codex, and I'm like, I don't know about all that. But then I used it. I was like, this UI is so good. Like, I really love it.
Are you using the desktop app?
Yeah, I use the desktop app. The
Okay.
CLI I use that too, but to me it doesn't seem that different than other tools. I don't know. I like the app. I like that. It's
Yeah, no, I do think the app is really good. It's definitely better than Claude Code's app. I still use the CLI because I usually am running like 3 at once. So I'll have my editor open, then the terminal at the bottom. And I have like multiple ones open usually. So I have like one writing a plan and one implementing the plan it writ previously, and one like reviewing the other's plan, and just like crazy crap like
yeah,
that.
you're doing like so orchestration going on. I love that.
Yeah, totally. So you're using Codex. Do you turn on fast mode?
I always have it on.
Always, right? Just ripping tokens all day.
It's not my token, so
I think she froze.
oh, you got unfrozen?
No, I still see
There we
her.
go.
I think Dev.
You're back.
I
Okay.
think Dev, you probably
Oh,
froze.
okay.
It's
No,
not
you
my
didn't freeze for me.
companies.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
All right, keep going.
Everything
You can
seems
keep
fine to
going.
me.
Okay. Yeah, Wi-Fi is weird, but okay, if I'm paying for myself, then I'm a little bit more, conservative with my token usage. But if it's my company, I'm like, you guys told me to
Fair
use
point.
it. Yeah. But you guys want me to show you
Yeah,
or
yeah,
tell,
for
I guess
sure.
okay. I should have been more ready. I'm on a new laptop, so
Very good. I'm going to share some links while you're doing that.
okay.
So this is the GitHub repo, entire io/CLI. And then the site itself is entire.io. Every commit tells a story. Now you can read it.
I think I visited the entire IO website a while ago, and I didn't see anything about commits. Is that like a new thing?
What do you mean that you didn't see anything about commits?
Like I think I visited a while ago, and it said that it was a way to capture agent sessions across like different agents and different people, and kind of like build and sharing. There wasn't a mention of like Git commits at that point. Maybe I could have just missed it.
Maybe you even saw it before I saw it, because I've
Okay.
always seen it say that.
No, I saw it through your profile. I didn't. That's how I discovered like, oh, that's a thing.
Interesting. I can't remember. I don't know.
Okay.
I could have
problem.
sworn, yeah. The checkpoints are always connected with the commit situation. So I guess I could. I don't have a demo plan, but I'm gonna just freestyle it, I guess.
This is a freestyle stream.
Yeah, it's a freestyle stream.
Always freestyling.
Let's see, share screen and okay, I'm just gonna do entire screen. I don't know. I was trying to just get like my terminal, but that won't happen. All right. So
okay.
You guys see my terminal, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna show you guys what it will look like to like set entire up and maybe like create a checkpoint or something like that. Hopefully this goes well. So like hopefully the demo gods are with me, but let's say I'm gonna just create a new repo. I'll just call this demo AJC or something like that, and I'll go into that directory. And then since I have entire already installed on my computer, I'm gonna run entire enable -y. Oh, I didn't spell entire right, but basically I'm saying that I want this this directory to have entire like track my sessions. So when I do -y, that like that does the like non-interactive for me. If I didn't do Y, it would ask me questions, but it set up a private GitHub repository for me. It enabled all the agents. Usually you would pick like, oh, I want to use Claude Code or AMP or Copilot CLI or whatever. But I'm like, I switch between agents a lot. So and enable all of them for me. And then it pushed a private repo to GitHub for me. So I can show you guys that too. GitHub.com/blackgirlbytes. And you don't have to push it to GitHub. Like you could stay. Oh, I'm not signed in here. Sorry. You could stay. Local. You could keep everything local. But this is just for demonstration purposes. I don't mind if things are on GitHub for me or on remote. Some people are like, I don't want everything that I'm doing immediately on GitHub or at all, whatever it is. But it basically pushed like the setup configurations for me, and it should. Oh, it didn't yet. But once I make my first checkpoint, it should create another branch for me, and that branch is where all like my agent sessions and like different checkpoints and stuff like that will be on there. So I can now go back to my directory and I can type codex or whatever it is that I want to type. Oh, codex not on here. Okay. I could have sworn I had it, but I think it's because I switched laptops. I'll go to the app then. And I'll just find this folder, documents. Where did I put this in? I think agent experiments and demo AJC. All right. And I think I can just tell it like create a README. Let me zoom in more for you guys and make this little thing. Create a README or something simple that explains, I don't know, how to set up Node. I don't know. And then we'll do that. Usually I tell my agent to make a commit for me, but just for the purposes of seeing like entire working, I'm just going to I'm going to literally make a commit, like manually do it.
One thing I still do manually, I don't have my agents mess with doing any commits. I don't want to mess anything up.
Really? Oh, I always have. Even like early on, somebody like laughed at me on a live stream, like it was like 2025 or something, and I was like, "Get put." No, I didn't say get pushed. I was like, "Push this," and they're like, oh, "What are you doing?" I'm like, I trust my agent. All right, so now if we go to get status, we see something here, and if I say get add all, get commit -m, adding a README, it should get push. See, it's saying it's pushing it to this branch called entire checkpoints v1. And then it's probably not going to be anything interesting because we just made a README. And if I refresh, we see this branch here existing, and we'll see if I switch to this branch, we'll see the sessions, not much really went on. And then we have a UI as well. Let me show you guys that it's easier to like visualize things. Wait, actually before the UI, I'll keep showing you guys something in the CLI. If we're in the CLI, now I can run something like entire checkpoints list. And I guess I don't have any. I got to make one more thing. Checkpoints will appear here after you save changes. Let's do one more change to see if that creates a checkpoint for us. I don't know. Create a simple hello world app. I don't want anything that's going to take long. HTML app.
So it seems like what you pushed up, the README was empty, but it's saying here your README should have 102 lines.
Interesting. What? Hold on. Maybe that's why I didn't create a checkpoint. I didn't really check, obviously.
Might have pushed it up to main.
No, but it's okay to push it to main. Even if what's it called? Even if the checkpoints are tracking what I'm doing on the other end. Shouldn't it have been pushed to main?
It did push it to main, but in the branch that wasn't there. Yeah, see, and none of the code's there either.
Interesting. Okay, let's try again.
It looks like it wasn't tracking the other branch. It said it was two commits behind and 1 commit ahead.
Where do you guys even see that? Let me read it. Hold on.
I saw it in the GitHub UI.
Oh, okay. I see. This branch. Oh yeah, it did say 0 files change. Okay, let's try one more time. Thank you guys. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and try this one more time. Git add all, git commit -m, adding HTML file. If not, I'll just show you guys one that already has it and figure out what happened. Or I'll create a new, let's create a new branch too and see if anything else changes. Check out the new test branch. Okay. And Codex should be on that. All right. Create, I don't know what else. Add some CSS.
Always the least interesting part. Just make it look good somehow.
Yeah. Well, we're not gonna check the site anyways. All right. But while that's happening, I'll show you guys some some things that actually happen in the UI from other repositories. Okay, so let's say we look at the entire IO CLI. That's like our open source repository. So this like CLI tool that I'm using, it's open source. You can see an overview, and it shows us like how many like checkpoints or we've had in the last 7 days, or whatever you want to change it to, whatever filtering. You could see like the different activity. This is like a team overview type of thing. If you were like, oh, how's my team doing, or how's myself doing, whatever, right? We've been mostly using Claude Code. Unknown would be like you just weren't tracking your session, and maybe it was just like yourself that did it and not a particular agent. And then here's like the top contributors. I've mostly been doing untracked, and then like tokens that are used and stuff like that. I think this to me is just like if you want that like overview of what's going on. But then you can also see, and let me make sure admin mode is off. Perfect. I don't want to reveal anything. You can also see like the sessions that have been going on, like just a little bit of a better view. So I'm just going to pick what Stefan has been doing. No clue what this is. It'll load. But basically you can see he made this prompt that says like, based on this, I'd like to switch the auth to the new token in the CLI. You can see the responses that Claude did, and this does look like a lot to see. Like some people are like, why would I want to like really read through some of my prompts or the responses? You can like toggle on and off certain things like the responses or the prompts or whatever it is that you want to do. But to me, it's not really the value of having the entire session and just going back to reading it. It's the value of being able to go back to like leverage it later. So like we have like different skills and stuff like that where I can say like, let me use like the search skill. And I'll be like, there was one point where I like implemented like, I don't know, form validation, or I don't know, some type of thing that I can't remember exactly how I did this or exactly what commit this happened in. And then my agent will use that skill and run different commands in entire and be like, here's how you implemented it. Let's try this here. Or there's like a session handoff skill as well. I want to be able to show that. But the session handoff skill, basically you have something going on in like Codex, right? And then maybe you, for some reason, want to switch over to Claude Code. You can tell it I want to do a session handoff. It'll give a quick summary of what are the things you did, where you left off. You paste that into Claude Code or Open Code or whatever it is, and it's able to resume the work from there. So to me, it's not like when I show people this, they're like, okay, this is just like the history. I don't really go back and read my sessions. And that's true for a lot of people, but it's more like that provenance of being able to use it later on or being able to run. Hopefully we can do entire explain. And I don't know if I kept messing up on this. Watch me have done something so dumb. Let's make sure. Adding files, git push. Sure. Because what I want, get checkpoints. Oh, not get checkpoints. Entire checkpoint list. Still, I don't know. I'm making a really dumb mistake on stream. But what I do like doing is like entire checkpoint explain. I'll just use a repo that already exists, and I'll do that instead of making my own. cd dot dot. Yeah, this is not.
Blog. I'm looking at the blog here, and I'm seeing you have something. What was it? That session to skill that turns repeated agent sessions into useful workflows. That sounds cool.
Yeah, that's a skill that I made. This is a new computer, so I don't have that skill installed. But I used that skill because, or I made that skill because I'm like, I keep doing the same things over and over again. DevRel, there's a lot of stuff that are like repeated workflows. Like, okay, I always create a blog post and I always have to tell my agent, did you forget the front matter or the metadata, da da da, like you messed up the folder naming structure or whatever. So I'm like, just look at all the past sessions that I've had where I set up blog posts and make sure and create a skill out of that. And so anytime I say like create a blog post or write this doc, it uses what it learned from there. So like to me, I'm like, it's so cool to have this history and to be able to like use it afterwards. So if I do entire checkpoint list, and this will be the last thing I show you guys, sorry. Now you can see in the CLI the different checkpoints. These are all connected to commits that happen. I don't know what step I'm doing that's wrong. Like as soon as I get off the stream, I know I'm going to be like, wow, that was really dumb. But let's say I want to do like entire checkpoint explain. I think we could do that. And it should tell me like what went on in that specific checkpoint, what the intent was. Yeah. So here's the intent. I guess this person was doing like some kind of review or something like that. And here's the transcript that happened and stuff like that. It's a little hard to read, which is why I often use the UI because it's much easier to just like quickly go through. But this is kind of like what the checkpoint CLI is. That's it for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it's like a memory for your entire organization instead of like how some agents like I think OpenClaw and Hermes, they have exposed like a session search tool so that the agent can look through its past history, see how it approached something, or it can also what's up, Chris? Long time no see. And it can also take your current conversation and package like whatever workflow it went through into a skill and then later recall that. But this is that concept, but taken to your entire team, which means likely that there's a lot more useful knowledge in there. There's a lot more insights and a lot more utility.
Yeah, exactly. That's a really great way to put it. It's I hear some people say it's like adding memory to Git and your agents. So that's a really great way to put it. Hey, Chris.
Yeah, the Git part is important because like most memory systems are like just look through the session history, but for coding agents, the session history, I mean, in a way that you can look at the session history and see what code changes have been made, but Git is simply a more reliable way to look at code changes, especially like if I as a developer go in and make some tweaks. I definitely want that in the memory that, hey, this is the code that the agent wrote. This is the improvement that I made. And that's what I want in memory, not like this is the code that the agent wrote.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's also helpful for, I mean, I guess this doesn't happen as much when agents were a little bit more less developed. Sometimes I would feel like I want to go back to a change from the past. You know what I mean? Like I'd be like, never mind, undo that. And then like it wouldn't undo everything or undo the wrong things. So I'm like having Git as part of the workflow. I can just run something called entire rewind and it can go back to a specific commit in time or specific checkpoint in time, which I feel much safer with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
that
sure.
makes
That would
sense.
definitely be something that I would find useful. It's saying here it works seamlessly with Git work trees. Each work tree has independent session tracking, so you can run multiple AI sessions in different work trees without conflicts. You can also run concurrent sessions.
Yep. That part's been pretty great too, if because there's a lot of people that are working like or doing parallel workflows and stuff like that. So having those like having it be able to go by work trees is great. Like I think the nice thing is like entire is something that really just works in the background, which is why you guys saw me kind of like flop a little bit with the like setting it up, because I'm like I don't often, it's not like I'm setting it up often, right? As I set it up, it's working and I just keep moving on. It doesn't like interrupt the regular developer workflow that I have. I don't have to learn anything really that new except for that like initial setup, and it's pretty much good.
Yeah, I really like that aspect of it. I think some of the most useful product dev tool ideas are going to come from uh, things that can be set up once and do almost all of their work in the background to improve things, rather than uh, me as a user having to constantly prompt it to do something.
Exactly. Or things that need so much like configuration. I love Goose, but I think like one of its, to me, I don't know if other people feel this way. One of its downfalls was that it needs so much configuration to do certain things. And I'm like, that's kind of a turn off for people. The pro of it was that like it can do so many things, but I'm like, people don't want to be doing setup every day. Like they just want to get their work done, to be honest.
Reminds me of Webpack.
Yeah.
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 So since it works with different agents, if you say you start with, Codex and then like you switch over to Claude, will it save checkpoints from both and have it be kind of unified, or will they be like separate from each other?
That's a good question. Let me see if I can find it. I mean, this project, it will save it from each, but I want to see it if I show you guys what it looks easier for y'all to see. I want to see if anybody started in a session and then switched over. Okay, maybe something like this. Um Yeah, I think this might be a good example. This is from somebody else, so hopefully I am not wrong. But entire CLI, let me just share my tab. But like right here, you can see that my teammate Nina, she started in Claude Code here, and then she switched over to Codex. So it was a new session technically, but she's continuing the work there. So it'll just label it as that and continues the session for you, or continues the work for you. Is that answering the question?
Yeah, for sure. And that's what I was thinking would be, really a thing that would make entire valuable is if you're someone who uses multiple agents. And because then it's like, you can be in Codex, you're like, oh, I want to remember this one session. You go back, like, oh no, that was in Claude. So you got to switch to the different things to like find that session. So if this keeps it all in one, that would be really useful.
Yeah. I think
Yes.
that part is great. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, especially in teams where you're almost never going to convince like 7 people in a team to use the same agent. They're always like one person's like, oh, I really like Cursor and Composer, and someone else is like, oh, I'm just gonna stick to my Claude, it works. So it's nice to that regardless of what kind of like the team chooses, they have this like shared platform.
Exactly. I like that too. That it's the agent agnostic. You can see everything where you need to see it. I think also that I like is like um we support a specific amount of agents natively, because that's how much like we can manage as a team. Right now it's still a small team, but we do have like this external agent plugins repo. So for people, hey, how you doing? For people that are like, I want to use like maybe my like particular agent that like maybe is not like the most popular or whatever, or it's gaining popularity, like you can feel free to create a plugin for that. It's super easy. Like we have AMP, we used to have Pi as an external, and now it's
Explain
built
what
in.
AMP is. Actually, I don't know what AMP is.
AMP is made by SourceGraph, It's a coding agent made by SourceGraph. It's really, really opinionated. I don't use it often, so I don't know that much. I know they had ads at one point. Like to be able to use AMP for free, you had to watch ads.
AMP is the frontier coding agent built for leading models and what comes next.
So
I think their main
yeah, go
I think
ahead.
their main thing is that they don't let you select the model because they want to pick the model and then optimize the experience around that every time. So that's kind of their angle, that they want to give you the opinions so that you don't have to spend a bunch of time configuring stuff.
Yeah.
Like
no
I spend a lot of
kidding.
time with OpenCode, and I'll be honest, it's a great app, but out of the box, it does very little, which is almost like on purpose, because like the plugin system is really good and you can add things, but AMP is like, okay, you're not going to need to configure. You're just going to get the best thing out of the box that we have built for you with the best model, the best prompts, the best tools, and you just go and use it. I think it was way more popular a few months ago, but I've stopped hearing about it.
Yes, exactly. And for those ones that were like, listen, not everyone maybe knows about this agent, but maybe you use it, just make a plugin for it. And making the plugin super easy because we have like a skill that like does it for you. But that's so interesting that you have that experience with like OpenCode, because I like that it's like no configuration. Maybe just like in comparison to Goose, like to use Goose, you need to configure everything to start. But like I was just like impressed. Like I'm like, I open OpenCode, we got Big Pickle.
Nah.
I could just start using it. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I found OpenCode didn't take much for me to get it up and working. You just gotta have like whatever the newest model is and just let it go YOLO.
Yeah, I like that. Oh, another thing I should say about Entire. Okay, I don't, and like I told you, some stuff are in stealth, but I've already written about this in a blog post, so I'll just show you guys this part. We're starting to rethink code review, as like I mean, I kind of like touched on it a little bit, where like
Yeah, I was curious about the review command.
yeah. Well, even we have an entire review command. That one's interesting. It's still like under work, but the whole idea is like you can have an agent review your code. You can have multiple agents review your code by running entire review. But this, we're like going to we're hoping we can completely evolve how code review happens and lean more towards like an intense review. So like being able to see like does what the agent did, like if did the agent complete what the intent was from the prompt. That way you're not like reading through like long files of code. Like you're like, all right, the user had this prompt, how accurate or how close was the agent's I'm trying to figure out how to not like reveal anything, but like how accurate was the agent's PR based on these particular prompts. So we're trying to like shift the way that code review happens so it's a little bit lighter for open source maintainers and anybody who has to review code. That's it.
Amazing. Anything that you can do to make me spend less time on github.com, I'm all for it.
You don't like GitHub?
Especially the code review tab or the code review page. No.
Yeah, I started using the GitHub PR extension in VS Code. So I have a PR now. I just looking at my editor because I can get my actions logs and just copy paste it right into my agent. Because that was the one thing that every time I have a failing staging test or something, I have to go into the UI, go into the action, get the logs, you know.
Oh, so smart. I didn't think of that.
Yeah. I want to get your thoughts, just some like, you know, of the moment things. What were your thoughts on the bun Rust rewrite?
Oh, a lot of people feel upset about that. I'm like, go off. Like if that's what you want to do. Like I thought that's pretty impressive. That they were able to do that. I know a lot of people were like, oh, I bet this is just slop, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, I don't know. I feel like even some human created code is pretty sloppy. So I don't
Yeah, my question to anyone who talks about slop is that have you worked at an enterprise? Have you
Right.
seen legacy code or code that was written 2 years ago by random people that don't no longer work at the
Work
company?
there. Exactly. I'm like, I've worked at startups where like the company was only around for like a year and a half. They hired contractors. The contractors, it was crazy. Like we had like all these shared variables, but the variables were spelled differently different times. I'm like, everything's always sloppy, in my opinion. So I don't consider anything AI slop. What was you guys' thoughts on that part, on the bun rewrite?
I think it's cool because I've been thinking for a while that AI it would be really good for like migrations because it's just porting, from one thing to another. And if you have a complete test suite, then you have a lot of assurances that what you're porting is still going to work pretty well. So I thought that was a really great example of how you can do that at scale. I thought it was funny when people are like, "How could you do this? How could you just push all this code without reviewing it? They're like, it's a million lines that no human has ever read." And I was just like, but this is like software engineering is itself meant to like solve that problem. Because if you have like 1,000 people working at a company like Google and all of them push up a PR in one day, that's like 1,000 PRs worth of code and no one has read all of it. Everyone has just read a piece of it. And the way you ensure you don't break the system is by having like these tests, like all this stuff to verify that it works. Like not because someone can actually physically find every single bug in the code by like reading it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That's a really good point. Yeah, I think they don't like change. That's what I think.
Also, people there who have a lot of their like identity wrapped up in like being really good at something like Rust, they like feel threatened by it. This is why I think people like the Primogen who were really anti AI for a while, because his whole thing is like he can code super fast and like he just works like a madman. But it's like that's what AI is actually really good at, is just coding forever. So if you're someone who just like can crank out all these Vim shortcuts to like write 100 lines of code super quickly, that's no longer really a useful skill set. And now the skill set is more, how do we think long term about our projects? How do we architect them correctly? How do we decide what features are actually worth building versus not building? Because we can build any feature we want now. It actually bumps things up a level to, we can think about things on a higher level, which to me I think is really cool. It's all good stuff.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. It did hit a lot of people's ego. One time I tweeted that like I'm like I never really cared about typing the syntax. Like I keep seeing people say they really miss like syntax and stuff. I'm like, I just like the dopamine hit of like I just created this. So
True.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the Rust rewrite, I mean, it makes sense from a certain point of view, and the one thing that maybe it slightly contradicts is like when Bun was started, a lot of people were asking like, why is it not in Rust? Why is it in Zig? And Jared had like some good things to say about Zig at that point, that Zig has some features that are better, especially for this specific use case, and Rust doesn't. So we're using Zig. But now like here we are 2, 3, 4 years later, and now it's like going back to Rust. I don't think the languages have changed that much. So it's probably something else. And the other thing that I think is pissing people off is that I think maybe in the last few months, Zig has kind of taken a very anti-AI stance. But like I think they moved away from. Did they move away from GitHub or something, or was that someone
Well, they
else?
said they're not accepting basically PRs from like agents or whatever, and Jared swore that their decision had nothing to do with that, and I was like, that it had at least a little bit to do with that. So
exactly. Yeah, comp time is what I was thinking of.
I didn't know about Zig, that it was anti-AI.
Yeah, Zig team has taken an anti-AI stance. They also like ever since Jared moved Bun over to Rust, the Zig kind of leadership has been like, Jared was never a great engineer anyways. He learned a little bit and then he wrote Zig, and then he put more focus on the business and startup side. He didn't spend too much time learning and coding and becoming an actual good engineer. So blah blah blah.
that is low class.
They don't need to say that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's been brutal. But I am pretty sure that the AI stuff almost certainly has something to do with it, even if Jared is not going to speak out loud about it. Also, in general, I've stopped trusting what I see from Anthropic employees because a few days later they're probably going to rug pull something. No, Jared is amazing, but Anthropic, I just don't like that company anymore.
I was gonna say it's probably powers above him, and he just got to go with it. You know.
Yeah, Peter had an interesting comment on Twitter when he was responding to something I said. He said, some languages are faster to prototype, so pick ones that's faster to prototype, get the architecture solid, and then port it over to Rust. It's kind of like how he was kind of justifying it. And it's like, to me, I'm just like, but if the agent's writing it anyway, it's like, is Rust the ultimate final end state, or is there going to be some other language that it could write that would get even more benefits? So I was actually asking ChatGPT, I was like, what would be, what is out there that would give you the same kind of memory safety or whatever from Rust, would give you like better performance or something like that? And it was like, no language exists which is like that. I'm like, that can't possibly be true. So I kept digging down, and it eventually told me about something called ATS, which is called the Applied Type System, which is a multi-paradigm, general-purpose, high-level functional programming language. That's like a dialect of ML. So it's like has something to do with like more like mathematical proof solving or whatever. But apparently that can have speed that would be comparable, but also can protect you from like certain memory stuff. So I don't know. I'd never heard about it, but I feel like there has to be some better paradigm out there at some point that's going to come around
that you can make.
I think Vercel answered that question. You might want to check that out.
Zero Lang.
Oh, is this the Chris Tate or something like that?
Yes.
Okay, I did see that.
This is their take on like building a low-level language like Rust that's better optimized for like AI agents that write code, which basically means a slightly better type system.
A programming language for agents explores what a programming language can look like when agents are primary users from day one. The aim of the language is easy to learn on the fly, deterministic to inspect and repair, standard library first, explicit enough that most tasks have one obvious path. Let's see. It's got a function. Looks kind of like JavaScript to a certain extent, but not, and with like a more functional kind of bent.
Yeah, I think the overall kind of it's like all signs point to functional programming of some sort.
This is cool though.
Fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, it's a exploratory, like experimental thing. I don't think it's like super different from an existing language to become like a thing of its own. But I think it's an interesting exploration of like, how do we optimize certain languages for AI that writes code? I have my own like kind of side explorations into that idea from different angles. Yeah, but it's nice to see that that you can also maybe remake a low-level language. So instead of writing C++ or Rust, you can give agents a better language. I think overall, it doesn't really, like, regardless of what language is being used, it doesn't save us as engineers to like from reading and understanding every bit of it, almost every bit of it. And obviously, we don't have to do all of it. But we still need to retain like a good high-level architectural understanding of everything, make sure there are good tests in place, which means we do have to read the tests, unfortunately, even if we don't read the code.
Yeah, that part's important.
This is really interesting. Glad you told me about this.
Of course, yeah. And I guess like one last thing on the Bun Rust rewrite is that a lot of people who bet on Bun for their projects like OpenCode, it's like most of them kind of either have to now move to Node or they have to be stuck on the current Bun version forever.
OpenCode already said they were moving to Node, didn't they? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But like that's another reason why people are pissed off about the Rust rewrite is that now they have to either move to Node or get stuck on the current version or adopt like this super experimental Rust build that's almost certainly going to have issues. And that was when Bun was already facing a lot of issues, especially around node compatibility.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how many issues there actually are, because a lot of people are just kind of like assuming there would be. But another person was saying they're like, it's moving from a memory unsafe language to a memory safe language. So any things that were old that could have like broken were already in the old code base. So it's like, so I don't know. We'll see. I don't know enough about Rust or Zig to really say for sure. So, but we'll see when the bug reports start rolling in.
Nice. But yeah, it was really nice seeing what Entired is doing. I'm excited to see your take on code review and intent review. Yeah.
I can't wait. Yeah, just keep watching us, see what other things we keep creating. Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, so what are the links people should check out? Like we shared entire.io, the homepage, entire.io /CLI for GitHub. You said there's a Discord as well.
Yeah, there is. It's not, it's a random string of numbers, but I put docs.entire.io in here. And then here's the Discord. Come through, guys. I'm chatting in here and having fun. Hold on. I'll put this on limited and generate a new link. Yeah, you guys
I grabbed the link from the homepage and put it in there.
Great, thank you. What other places you guys should be? If you wanted to check out the open source repo and contribute too, you can go here. There's this, and we have what's this called? External
YouTube with a short you just put on. Open source is not dead. We should talk about that as our last thing to close out, because I have thoughts about that as well.
Yeah, I want to know what y'all think. I'm trying to do a spicy take a week. Oh, I mean, it wasn't too spicy, but lightly spicy.
Yeah, because I mean, I think it was someone from cal.com wrote an article about how open source was dead or whatever. And I mean, to me, I feel like it's the opposite, because the agents write with open source code. It's like you ask an agent to write something and it's going to pull in open source dependencies. So I thought the just take didn't really make much sense to me. I think if you're looking at like the supply chain meltdown, you could be like, open source is in a risk of dying because it's going to be too risky to use open source packages. So it's like, I actually right now the Autoshift CLI, I've made a completely dependency list. So I'm not using like the OpenAI NPM library or the Anthropic one or Gemini's one. I'm doing everything just through fetch calls to the APIs. And so that's I think where things are also. And then I'm also seeing people say like, you should just fork your dependencies. And I'm like, well, why don't you just like write your own from scratch? I think makes more sense. They're saying you should fork a dependency and then like pare it down to just your uses. And it's like, but then you're stuck with all those like legacy decisions. It's like, I think it makes more sense just to build your stuff for your project directly and only pull in a dependency if you really, really need it. But with Bun now, there's like, it covers so many things. Like it even covers like, rudimentary image manipulation now.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I think we needed dependencies back then when there was no agents. It's like, dang, I don't want to write this all from scratch. But you can literally have your agent just created dependencies from scratch really quickly. I think it's interesting. Was Cal.com the one that was like, they're getting security breaches or something like that, which is why they're going private? There was like some company that was like, we're going to go closed source because like we're unable to keep it secure. And I'm like, that sounds like a you problem. Like open source is the perfect place to make sure that like your tooling is secure. Just because you put it in a private repo is not going to stop it. Like we look at GitHub, they just got a security breach and their repos are not public.
Yes, that was cal.com. They took, I think their position was that they had their entire infrastructure open source, which includes like their backend and stuff. And that's the thing that I mean, a lot of other companies are also like, especially DevTools, they are open source as well, but they don't open source everything. So, for
Yeah.
example, like PowerSync open source the SDK and these and like source available service. Clerk also like open source their SDK and stuff, but the actual infrastructure was not. So Cal.com's argument was that the infrastructure is not shouldn't be open source, which is also kind of consistent with how other companies do it, where like the entire CLI is open source, but the backend is not. Correct?
Yeah, like
Yeah, that's what I do with. That's
open
what I do with.
core.
Yeah, that's what I do with
Open
Auto
core.
Show. So there was Cal.com. It was
I
done out of
agree with
fear.
Justin.
Not that they had actual vulnerabilities. It was a convenient excuse, in my opinion.
Honestly, everybody's using AI as the excuse for things. I just want to say that,
Yes.
like, even with layoffs, they're like, because AI, like, we're doing amazing as a company, but because of AI, we have to lay them off. What? That's just, you're just using the excuse. Every single thing you can't blame on AI. It's just you.
Yeah. The worst part is that the AI increases productivity. So instead of having more people do more things, we're just going to let people go so that we can keep doing the exact number of things that we were already doing, because
Exactly.
we don't have any ideas on what else we can do.
Exactly. It's just silly. But back to the open source thing. I think what you guys are saying, it's just the supply chain issue. It's just, this is why everyone's like, oh, they're going to try to build their own GitHub or whatever, because we recognize we need better tooling somehow to support this new age of coding. And I think that's okay. Like, it doesn't mean open source is dead. We just need to change a few things.
I feel like open source is maybe even more important, because if I'm going to have my agent write a dependency for me, I don't want it to do it from scratch. I want it to look at a few existing libraries that already do the job correctly, and then copy that to my or like customize it to my needs.
That's a good point. Yeah. Look at the examples, because agents are really great at following patterns. Yeah.
Yeah, every time I have so many repos where like I've cloned a bunch of random stuff. Like I have a folder where I've cloned every possible variation of OpenClaw, so that I can have an agent like go through them and maybe find some like common patterns and things like that. Yeah, I'm actually giving a workshop at KCDC called Build Your Own Coding Agent.
Oh,
So I've also been spending some extra time looking through a few of them. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Have
that's
you used
exciting.
OpenClaw, Roselle?
No, I have not. I was nervous to use it on my company computer. I was like, what if I get in trouble for something? But I kind of like um used Goose to like create my own. So like I mean, it was just like an experiment. It's not like something I continue to use, but like I had Goose's back end, and then like I would like type stuff in Discord, and then I would have it like execute stuff for me. So that was like my little like my FOMO moment when I wanted to use OpenClaw. And I know everybody bought Mac Minis, but I'm not the type to hop on a trend like that and spend my money. But yeah. Have you
Totally.
used it, Anthony?
I wrote a blog post where I compared OpenClaw and Hermes, so I used it to the extent that I needed to just kind of understand how it works. It seems like Hermes gets you a lot of the same benefits, but it has some kind of additional cool stuff in terms of like memory. And to me, it also just seems simpler, and like it was kind of a more clear architecture. And there's like a whole team kind of working on it. And yeah, the OpenClaw I wasn't really sure, because the guy got hired by OpenAI, and so it says like, what's that going to
Maybe.
mean for the project? And
Yeah.
yeah, it seemed like a thing that was kind of I've got a good sense for these things now, where it's like when something gets so popular so fast and everyone's talking about it, I'm always just like, there's an idea here that has like caught fire because of like something that is like important and unique and different about it, but it's probably going to filter out to other stuff, and then like a competitor is going to come around or something else, like do it better, and that this thing is going to be like just kind of a moment, like a flash in the pan, like like Quick is like a good example. Like, who gives a crap about Quick anymore? Like the front end framework. So I think I felt like this was not something that I needed to like put a whole bunch of time and effort into.
How did he even get popular so fast? Because I was following him, like making OpenClaw, and I was like, oh, this is cool that he's making what he's building. And then all of a sudden, one day, everyone's like, I installed OpenClaw. Even like celebrities and stuff like that were like, I'm installing OpenClaw right now. Like, what was that trigger? I don't know.
Honestly, I'm
Very
pretty sure it
expensive
started by
AstroTurf campaign.
I'm pretty sure it started by Anthropic banning Claudebot and OpenCode
That's
from
right.
their Max plan.
And then everybody started paying attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because he changed the name to Moltbot or something odd. Okay.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah, I think so. That was the trigger. But I think from like the product use, like utility perspective, I think it's also like all the like it was basically like a set of primitives put together in a certain way that was not done before. Like memory channels and sandboxes are the main things that come to mind. Like host it in a computer, let it do things, give it its own memory, and then talk to it over WhatsApp or Telegram, Discord. So it was and like these are things you could have done, you could have set up yourself easily. You could have like spun up a Tailscale thing and used like a UI on your phone. But like just talking to it over Telegram, Discord, WhatsApp was like I think that was like the main innovation.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it was like the existing primitives kind of just put together. Yeah, it's and then like obviously the Anthropic blow up and all of that. And I'm sure a lot of stores just completely ran out of Mac Minis once it blew up.
Everybody was going crazy with that. It's still sold out, like Mac Minis. Like we tried to buy one for a hackathon to give people, and it says sold out.
That's funny.
Yeah, I've been like just using Hermes for the past few months. I'm pretty happy with it. I tried OpenClaw for a little bit, like a few days ago. It just like didn't quite work the same way. Maybe I should have invested more time into it, but I'm back on Hermes again. It's pretty nice.
I haven't tried Hermes. I should though. Everybody keeps telling me.
Yeah, Hermes is cool. The team behind it is very cool. It's Nous, or, I don't think that's how it's pronounced, but Nous, and
News Research.
Nous, that's right. Yeah, and Technium, is that the guy's name? Yeah, Technium, who is the best follow in terms of the AI space. I've been following him for a while.
Oh,
yeah.
Follow him.
There's a lot of OpenClaw clones that came out, but I think the unique thing about Hermes was that it came from a model lab or like an AI lab, where most other like Claw variants are just like random people trying something out or building like a smaller, more secure version somehow. But yeah, the Hermes is like they kind of like do their own AI training as well. So they're the ones who built this.
That's cool.
All right, well, we could probably start wrapping it up. Sweet, so super fun. Yeah, I'll be curious to see kind of where things go with Entire. It seems like it's still pretty early days. So got a lot of fun things coming up, and yeah, I'll probably check it out, especially once the review functionality starts getting built out, because that's something that I really want to spend more time is figuring out what are the best kind of review things around.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it started in like February, so we are really early.
Oh wow.
But I found the checkpoints tool itself really useful so far, and I myself can't wait for like the review to see it. I'm like, hurry up, guys! But I know it's a lot to create and in a short amount of time.
Nice. We're gonna need you to come back here and talk about the review once those ship.
Yeah.
GitKraken review just launched.
Let's start something. A little competition.
I've never used GitKraken before.
Me neither, but it looks great, like the UI.
I was just like the name. GitKraken's a good name. All right. Hey, thanks, Chris, for hanging out. And Justin as well. Anyone else who is in the chat watching, really appreciate you all chatting and being here. Dev, when do you think we'll stream again? Do you want to do this next Monday, or you want to take a week off?
We can do the next Monday. I suddenly have a lot of free time.
Yeah. We'll decide over the weekend.
Mhm.
I might have some stuff to show.
Yeah, me too.
Cool.
I'm gonna have a bunch of stuff to show, most likely.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Well, check out Entire. Give Roselle a follow, and we will catch you all on the next one.